And welcome, everybody. This is Chart Request Live. We do this show twice a week on Stock Market TV, every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Myself, my esteemed co-host and friend, Patrick Dunawilla of the Chart Report. How are you, Pat?
Good. I mean, we haven't done this in a while. The band is back together.
I know. So Pat's been away. How were your adventures in Sri Lanka?
It was a really good time. I don't normally take vacations, and yeah, it was really good. It's taken me a lot to get over this jet lag. My sleep schedule is completely messed up, but
How long is
good.
that flight, Pat?
Oh man, probably 12, 13 hours.
Oh,
We stopped in Doha in the Middle East there for a little bit, but
wow.
man, it's brutal. I mean, you went last year to Asia.
Yeah, did you fly in like one of those fancy planes or just standard stuff?
Flew in one of the fancy planes. It was a Boeing, so I was a little nervous, but
Yeah.
uh, we're here. We made it through.
All right. Listen, so Pat, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm so glad to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Where did Spencer send the requests? Oh, got them. Here we go.
Yeah, they're in there.
Oh, we're gonna start with the mailbag. We're gonna hit the chat. I see you guys. What's up, Frank? What's up, Josh? What's up, Jonathan? First up, Mark. Looking at a possible long entry. I haven't heard about this one in so long. This is a blast from the past. Indian Pharma RDY. He says above 73. I'm looking at 90 to 100 range. A base breakout above the 2021 highs, or a CNH cup and handle. If you zoom out to 2015, you see what he's saying.
I definitely see what he's saying with the cup and handle. It's a little wonky just because you had this little false breakout here and then it built the handle here, but I think it's constructive seeing it kind of holding nicely above the former highs from 2015 here. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, this name, it was shaping up nicely last year. And here the breakout just hasn't really materialized into anything important. It just kind of went on consolidating here. But that being said, the handle part of it.
I wouldn't call it a handle, Pat. Like from
Yeah,
what I know about Bill O'Neill and our friends over at IBD, a handle should be quick. This is a
yeah,
base. This is
yeah.
just
I would treat, right. You're right. I think you treat this as its own base here. So let's forget about the handle aspect of it.
it looks
But
like this base is building a handle out right now.
that's true. There you go. Yeah, that's true. I see what you mean. It kind of tried to break out there, and then this part, sorry, is the handle. But if this goes, I mean, if it's above, what is that, 75-ish? Yeah, call it 75. If it's above 75, looks good.
Do you have powder blue arcs because of your love for the San Diego Chargers? Is this the San
It's
Diego
the
powder?
LA Chargers now. No, no, that's not why. It's just a nice neutral color. I feel like green is too bullish, red is too bearish. So
A nice color,
neutral.
Pat. I do
Thanks.
like it. I love the Tar Heel blue.
Um, what is UConn? Are they Navy? Or are they
Navy.
okay? So yeah, 75 above 75 gets you to 92. Not bad here, but so far we got to get through that 75 level, and that's proven to be a challenge here. Getting a little rejection here. So we'll see if it triggers, but above 75, it's
So
on.
So is it fair to say, Pat, that Dr. Reddy's is not quite ready?
There you go. There you have it. Dr. Reddy needs some more time. He's not ready yet.
Good setup, though.
Yeah.
Definitely a nice looking setup. All right, next from the mailbag, Jeff Uber.
Uber.
I
You
can
and
go
I
to
were
bed at
talking about
night,
this
close
one.
my eyes, and see this chart at this point.
Right, right. So it's really clean one here. You got the retest. It didn't quite reach its Fibonacci target, either on an intraday basis or closing basis. But you got this nice retest here, and now you got to be looking towards that Fibonacci zone for your target here. So right around anywhere between 85 and 90 here, or 91, you'd be looking for profits. You'd like to see RSI make a new high if it gets up there, but I have a feeling it might give you a troublesome divergence. I don't know that for sure. Can't predict the future, but just seems like how it would work, kind of losing momentum as it goes up. But this looks like a great trade. It had a nice one of these IPO base breakouts, or kind of breaking out of this base for the first time. I guess it tried to break out of this base over here, but we were talking about this one earlier, Steve, in relation to hymns and how it looks very similar in that where it was when it was breaking out of its base.
Yeah.
And I was worried, like everyone's seeing this setup, you think it's going to fail. And I remember thinking the same thing with Uber, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, yeah, it didn't reach its target, but it was still a nice trade for a while. I mean, you got at least 20% there.
Yeah, Uber was one of those charts where we came into the year thinking, oh, it's extended.
Yep.
And then it just got far more extended.
Yeah. And I remember having that conversation. Like everyone's seeing this Uber chart. It's a pretty popular stock. Do you think it'll fail? But here, it's held up pretty nicely. And the successful retest, you were mentioning how sometimes you don't know if something's going to go higher, but you're pretty confident it's not going to go lower. And that's what this successful retest tells me is, okay, it had the chance to break down and it didn't. Buyers stepped in, they defended it. So now it's like the path of least resistance is higher kind of thing. But another one this reminds me of is Sprouts Farmers Market, another gigantic base that was breaking out for the first time since going public. And that one worked out beautifully too. Here we are, if it's above this 70 level, you're looking at 100 next. So
if we're playing the you remind me of game,
yeah, let's hear it.
Throw up CrowdStrike. Because CrowdStrike today is likely to be Uber tomorrow.
Beautiful setup here, yeah.
Got the breakout. You got a decently hard retest. Cyber stocks were getting crushed.
Yeah.
People were worried. Right? CrowdStrike dug in, rebounded. Now it's at new all-time highs. I think Uber does the same thing.
Now, is this the leader in cybersecurity?
Yep, as far as I'm concerned. That's my leader. I mean, listen, Palo Alto is really good too. They deserve to be in that conversation. Broadcom, because they own VMware, is a large component of a lot of cybersecurity indexes also.
Okay. What do we got next?
So that's my thoughts on CrowdStrike, Giovanni. We had a question about it.
We did.
Great look. They just added it to the S&P 500, so it got a little bit extended on that. But
okay. Yeah, it looks like 425 is next. Looks good.
I mean, this one really looks as good as anything in big cap tech. Next is Ivan, Spotify.
Man, this one shaped up nicely. I can't, we get asked about this one probably almost every show, maybe not every show, but quite a lot. And I can't remember the last time it's looked this decent. It's really made it all the way back to those former highs. Now, I think it's already having some issues these last couple months at those former highs, and I think this is going to take some time to chew through. This is just a big mess here. And I think you're already seeing it. Momentum's kind of lagging here, or just waning there. So I think you could see it correct down to probably the 61.8. We'll see where that comes in. Yeah, right around 265 there. I'd guess it pulls back here before you see all-time highs again, but it's really rebounded. I mean, this thing was probably down 85% or something, right?
You ever just look at a chart like this? A lot of colors from you with the annotations today. But you ever just look at a chart like this and say, I don't like the way this uptrend looks?
Yeah, I mean, it looks exhausted, right? I mean, this is a weekly chart, and weekly RSI has just been diverging pretty much all year. You look at it in a daily, it's probably going to look worse. Yeah, look at this. Hasn't been oversold since April.
Pat, this uptrend looks so tired at this point, and that's not a reason to short something.
No.
But it might be a good reason not to enter, right?
Yeah.
Like, momentum plays catch up with price more often than not. But also sometimes it confirms these divergences and rolls over.
Yeah.
I don't like the way this one's trading. I will say these streaming services, throw up 10-cent music. It's the same thing over in China.
What is it? 10
TME.
TME? Right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Streaming platforms are just doing really well.
Yeah, yeah, been on fire. And also, how about communications in general? I mean, they've made it all the way back, and this is another reason I don't think Spotify will do it. I think something similar is going to happen to communications, where you see maybe it build out a handle here. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it just returns to all-time highs and you get the clean breakout, nice V-shaped recovery. Maybe you get that, but I think some more digestion at this overhead supply is probably more likely. And
I think that's great.
Spotify is a communication stock, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
so it's in this too. Um, but
All
yeah,
right. Let's move on. I like this one. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this is good. So this is from Zach. Big fan of you guys. Would love your input here on Verizon. I've attached a few charts of my own. I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to look at them. Would love for you. We are seeing another top forming here in a bull market and debating a position. Relative performance to the S&P seems to be pretty bad. Pat, I need a relative chart in this analysis because pretty bad is an understatement. It's god awful. It's as bad as it gets. So he's looking at a potential breakdown. Is it something I should worry about and move on to other names with higher relative strength?
Steve, I'm going to toss this one to you because you know about this stock a lot better than I. I know how you feel about telecoms and as far as a dividend trap and all that. So why don't you take it away? I'll DJ the charts.
I think Zach's doing a great job at asking all the right questions here. Pat, zoom out forever on this.
On the relative?
Yep. Go all the way back.
Oh my gosh, it just keeps getting worse.
So the problem is, it's not about bull or bear market for Verizon. These guys just underperform in any market for as long as I've been alive. A lot of times I say, wow, this trend has been in place my whole career. This trend has been in place my whole life. This is an underperformer. It's a secular laggard. So I would say, yes, move on. Another thing I'll say is, we used to call a stock like Verizon high quality, low volatility. Now it's just low quality, low volatility, right? These companies have balance sheet problems. AT&T's out here slashing their dividend. They really can't service their dividends, any of these telecoms at this point. I think you stay away, right? And I see it. Like, Pat, you look at the absolute chart, there's a base shaping up there. You could draw a breakout level around 43, right? Like, I get it. But no, this is just not a bull market vehicle. And I would argue it's not in any market vehicle. These stocks are really bad. You want one where the line is moving up and to the right for decades on a relative basis, not down and to the right for decades.
Yeah. And look at this. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. Little base forming. I'm sure you could draw it as a head and shoulder if you really wanted, but look how many chances it's had it to go, and it just can't do it. Lower high, lower high. So
now zoom in and draw the top on a daily. Now zoom in and draw the top he was talking about on a daily.
On the daily, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think that's it,
gosh,
right?
yeah.
Like, if you really listen, you like Verizon, you want a position, fine. I think Pat just drew it. In a perfect world, you get that breakout above the pivot highs, fine. You're still going to underperform. But if this top breaks, you can't own this. You're looking at new lows on a relative and absolute basis.
Yeah, just a mess. Now, can you think of one that is similar that in terms of like high quality, low volatility that you would buy instead of this one for people who are fans of Verizon looking for that type of trade, like your dad, like a dividend oriented investor, something like that. Can you think of one that'd be a better alternative?
3M.
3M.
There you go.
Let me get rid of all these. 3M. There you go.
Trend line broke. You could draw a little base. The trend is turning, right? Not topping. Yeah. There you go.
A little Wyckoff action, right?
And this one, listen, same issues as Verizon, where they had a big yield that they really couldn't service. They slashed it, and then the trend reversed as soon as they cut the dividend.
Was that it? Really?
Yep.
Oh man.
So 3M, listen, Nike looks okay. Pfizer's trying. Disney, like, there are other quality stocks that I think are more interesting with ugly charts, right?
Okay.
See, you got them all marked. You know what I'm talking about.
It's really refusing to break down here. Really trying, but at the same time, I mean, just a underperformer too. Just, yeah, you could be looking at this and saying, well, it hasn't broken down yet, might as well try to buy that dip. But in the meantime, the market's gone straight up, and you're sitting in this thing trying to buy a bottom here, hoping that one day it goes back to its former days of glory. I don't know.
Listen, it's ugly setup. I would far prefer to own this than Verizon. I think you're also going to get like a 5.5% yield, which I think is a hell of a lot safer. All right,
Yeah.
what's next? Thanks for letting me participate.
Of course.
Hawkins Inc. HWKN. It has some insider trading. It does, Joe.
Ooh.
Sure does.
Let's zoom all the way out in the monthly. What is this thing? Just absolute tear. No, but seriously, what is it? Is it
What is Hawkins?
yeah, the industrial?
Let's see. Oh, this thing looks ready to go. Chemicals?
This is the kind of chart that's really difficult to get into because it is just such a steady uptrend. What do? How do you get into it? And here we are. I think you just buy this. You buy this flag breakout if it breaks out. If you're looking for a short-term trade, even if you're looking for it for a long-term trade, it's you could buy it on weakness here, but I think the move here is just buy this resolution out of here.
Yeah,
90, right?
we tend to ask ourselves this question, where do you get in on the best charts? Like, they're the hardest to get into. And a lot of times you just find a way to do it responsibly, get in, know where you're out, and follow your plan, right? But I'm with you on a name like this. Just strap in and get long.
Yeah, right. Or maybe do it in increments too. You don't have to buy a full position right here. You nibble at it, you buy some at 90, kind of build a position over time. But if you're doing this as a short-term trade, if it goes below 84, I think that's your out point for the short term. Then you're looking to buy it lower from there. So
Harminder says Hawkins reminds him of Stranger Things. I don't know how Harminder knows that I go to the deli every morning. I don't know. I saw your comment on the morning show today, dude. I don't know how you have that kind of insider information on me. All right.
Is it for the cheese or the meats? I know you like your cheeses.
Oh, a lot of cheese and meats going on down here. I also frequent the bakery almost every day. So, Jonathan, thoughts on Vital Farms, VITL? Is this like what do they call them? Like range-free chickens or something? What are they? Cage-free chickens? The good chickens.
Is it a chicken farm?
Range-free?
Cage-free, range?
Cage-free.
Yeah, free range and cage-free. That's where you're confused.
Free range. Anyway.
Agriculture, commodities, and milling.
They got the good eggs.
Is it actually an egg company?
I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding. Wow. Beautiful setup here. Really nice, and I've never heard of this one.
It's a great chart. What's the market cap on this bad boy?
You tell me. 1.8 billion? Not bad.
7. Yeah.
It's good enough.
I'm gonna mute myself while you go because they're putting in Windows out here and it sounds awful. So I apologize, everybody.
I don't hear anything, but go ahead. So really nice base breakout here. Kind of looks like those. I don't want to compare it to like Hims or Uber or those because it's kind of a different stock, but similar setup here. I mean, you have this nice base forming since it went public. It went public at the wrong time. Had this massive drawdown to start, over 80% drawdown, but it's made it all the way back and it's above those former highs. I think that's really important too. A lot of the times we'll see these charts break out or get back to the former highs, not break out, and then build out some sort of consolidation or some sort of handle, for lack of a better term. But this one really sticking the breakout nicely. You got this candle. If we look in a daily, that was kind of the retest. This was a successful retest right here. Had the chance to break down and it didn't. Really nice breakaway gap here. Everything looks good with this trade. I mean, I think at this point you're just looking for targets.
Oh,
And you know what, Steve? It's actually pretty actionable here too. This one, yeah, it really hasn't left the station that much yet. You could,
so
I have it drawn like this. You could also draw it like this, where it hasn't broken out yet. But with this one, I think you get in here, you put a stop at last week's low or just below it, and you let this one ride and all the way up to
yeah,
65. Not bad at all. Look at
dude, I
momentum on here. Ridiculous. Like,
love this. So I have a fun story. I actually went. I went to Publix Sunday morning. I was in bed early Saturday. I had an early morning Sunday. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I'm going to the supermarket. I bought these eggs. I have these.
really?
And then I complained about them. I came home and made breakfast and I complained. Small yolks. Small yolks.
Wait,
So
I probably bought this brand too. I'm Googling it now.
yeah, it's Vital
But
Farm.
small yolks, that's the takeaway. You know what? I have this in my fridge as well.
Yeah, this is in
Didn't
my
even
fridge
know.
right now.
Didn't even know.
Too
But
fun.
wow, beautiful. So who brought this one? My
Sometimes,
hat's off to you.
sometimes you want the chemicals, you want the steroids, right? Like I want
Give me
juice.
the hormones.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. The verdict is still out on the organics.
Yeah.
What is next? What is next? That's a great
Hey,
chart.
what's by the way, what's short interest on this?
What's the short interest on the Vital Farms?
Yeah. Have you seen this one before?
I have not. I've seen it in the grocery store. I've seen it in my refrigerator. I haven't seen it out in the wild, in the stock market. Let me get you that short data.
I'm seeing.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah, nothing.
Ben?
You remember, I mean, the reason I ask is you remember Sprouts, that was like something like 20% short interest when it was just breaking out.
But
I
then,
remember I couldn't even believe that. I was like, is that right?
yeah.
This thing's at all-time highs.
And now the short interest has plummeted since the breakouts down to 10% in Sprouts. And
Wait,
that's how that works.
That's still elevated, I'd say.
Yeah, still double digits.
But-
All right, what do we got? To the chat. What's up, chat? All right, take it from the top. You get one ratio chart, Josh. We'll do both. Listen, real quick. J&J Lilly, JNJLLY.
Now is J&J a GLP?
No,
Right. They're not in that?
it's a staple.
So this is J&J Lilly. Let me throw on the... Where is it?
So this
Yeah,
is
sorry.
kind of the point about Lilly. Like, if you're just getting to this whole GLP-1 craze now, this trend has been in place for years. Like, you're so late. You're so late to invest in this theme now.
I just turned it.
Yeah, so he just flipped it on its head. This is Lilly J&J. I don't know. There's nothing actionable here from this ratio. Lilly's been really good. They're doing something so different. Johnson & Johnson is a staple stock.
Right, I was gonna say they're just very different stocks too.
I wouldn't compare these companies at all. I don't know how they're even similar.
This is Lilly on an absolute basis. J&J. Oh, wow. What a slow, ugly bleed, right? You know, this might not look that bad, this top, maybe it does to you, but oh man, this on a relative basis, like
Yeah,
you
do
think
it
about the
relative to
opportunity cost. What's that?
Bench it versus the broader market now.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, we had a bench compared to Eli Lilly before, but compared to the broader market, I mean, man, just a slow bleed. Even if you compared it to the Dow,
There you go,
it's gonna
Pat.
look ugly. Yeah.
We're lowering the bar a bit.
Yeah. Should we do Russell? Don't no point there, but
Lowest level since when?
okay, a little better on the
No,
Russell.
J&J SPY lowest level since when?
Ooh, since 1999 looks like. Wow,
That's terrible.
2000.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. SPY MDY.
Looking at large caps versus mid caps. Ooh, okay. I didn't notice that. I mean, large caps are just breaking out versus everything. Isn't that right? I mean,
This is the only trade. right? If you're an index person or a passive person, there's nothing for you down the cap scale. If you're a stock picker, go ahead. You'll find some really good stuff in pockets of strength in the small and mid cap world. But if you're planning on trading the indexes and using something like MDY or IWM, first of all, MDY is far better than IWM. Both of them are not what you want. You want the SPY or the Qs or even the Dow. You want one of the large cap averages. Yeah. Right? Is there anything else to say about this?
I mean, look at that. Like if we looked at mega caps versus large caps, even.
Yep.
Mega caps breaking out versus large caps. So it's not even just large caps. It's the biggest and the best. And the further you go, it works out that way, where it's the smaller, the worse.
So do like mid caps versus micros now. MDY, IWC.
Oop.
So the point is that we're trying to make is if you just do anything bigger and bench it against something smaller, you're probably at new highs.
Yeah.
So the idea would be to go as big as you can get to the megas, right? If you're a stock picker, there's something for you in all of these areas, all of these universes. But if you're going the passive route and looking for a fund, you got to keep it with the big boys. All right, let's move it on. Moving on down the line. Is Nvidia going to blow off? We're skipping that question.
Oh man. Well, no. I think it's, everyone's watching it, so let's take a look at it. All my annotations are messed up because of the split, but here we go.
They don't split adjust our chart markups at TradingView?
I don't think so. No, because I've done that a couple times recently. But here, is it a blow off top? With this, it reminds me of that Paul Tudor Jones quote where he said, no classroom or anything, no training is going to be able to teach you how to trade that last third of the move or that last leg. And I feel like that's kind of what we're dealing with here is, if this is the last leg, there's no point in trying to, even if it is, let's say we knew for certain this was the last leg, I still wouldn't short it because, like if you told me Nvidia is going to be done forever after this one, I still wouldn't try to short it here because you have no idea how crazy that last hurrah is going to be. You could get real funky, it could completely defy logic and all that. So this is for hero traders and anybody who's been in the market for any significant period of time knows that that's a good way to just take yourself out of the market is through trying to make hero trades. This is a trade that somebody puts on not because they care about the P&L in their account, but more because they care about bragging to their friends. They want to be right. Yeah.
Right. This is an ego trade. This is a foolish trade. This is for idiots, right? Not market professionals. Tenured market participants know never to short an uptrend like this. And again, it's not because you could be wrong. It's that you could take yourself out forever trying to win on a trade like this.
What do you think it seems like everyone has a desire to want to short this thing, or at least
because they're not in.
Is it because it doesn't make sense and people just want it to make sense?
No, it makes sense. It makes plenty of sense why Nvidia is priced the way it is. This is not crazy. This stock continues to get cheaper every time they report earnings, right? So it's not like a crazy valuation situation that people can't wrap their heads around. It's a FOMO situation. So what happens after FOMO for a lot of people is revenge trading. They're pissed that they missed out.
Like, I missed it, but everyone else is wrong.
So now they want to get it on the on the other end, right? And say, well, I shorted it at the top. I didn't buy it at the low. I shorted it at the peak. And this is just a trap I think too many of us fall into. I don't even think we should be entertaining this idea on this show.
Well, 175 looks next. I mean, it looks like it's gunning for that too.
It's gunning for the Dow.
It's gunning for the Dow. There you go. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What is UNH? UNH is the largest component in the Dow, right? 485. Okay, so it wouldn't be the largest.
No, it won't be the largest. Nope. All right. Moving on, VOG, very funny. CNQ 1 minute chart. I'm actually long CNQ. What is the Transmedics chart telling us?
What is that?
TMDX.
Transmedics, yeah. What is it telling us? I think you got to fib it out here. I'm gonna fib out this base. There. What do you think? If it's above 140, 200 is next? That's what it's saying to me. If you bought this breakout. Yeah, I mean, it's been consolidating there long enough. It reached there in a couple months ago or a month ago and just kind of sideways consolidation there. Here we are resolving nicely today. 200 looks next.
I like it.
I don't think it's any more complicated than that.
I mean, look, one target hit, and then you're coiling right there. You couldn't ask for better price action at the first target. So the CNQ, I'm so good at monitoring the chat. I see
You're a lot better than I am.
So CNQ, they weren't asking for a 1 minute. VOG was asking for a 1 month. So, and that's the right way to look at this chart because boy, is it beautiful. The further and further you zoom out on Canadian natural, the better it gets. I love drawing these big bases. Oh,
Zoomed all the way out here on now this is like Canada's biggest would you call it Canada's biggest like resource play?
Along with Imperial Oil, I believe they are the two largest.
Okay. Steve, does it bug you that momentum's kind of, well, it's not breaking down here. It's actually staying in a pretty bullish range, right? Seen that? But I mean, I think you could totally get a retest here. I think it could totally come back and retest that 25 before it goes higher, before it makes a new high.
I don't overthink the divergences as long as we're hitting overbought or oversold.
Yeah,
the divergence, right. And I mean, that one's close, right? But I guess it just checks the box. If it misses that 70 reading at the new highs, like totally misses the overbought reading, then I'm like, yikes. But this is probably okay. And then you also want to look at the lows in momentum, right? The way it just keeps holding those range lows.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Just I mean, it's almost like it's saying it just doesn't want to get oversold there. But it's either going to break this, which it's trying not to. So if it reclaims that, then you're good. You're probably looking at all-time highs. But if it somehow reverses this weekend, then you're looking down here at 25. But so far, it looks like it's fighting back. It looks like it violated a little bit the former highs, but really trying to fight back here this week.
This is do or die time. I don't think you want to own it back in that box, right? But zoom in, Pat. Like zoom way in on that current range.
Yeah, sure. Actually, let's drop it down to a daily.
So this is Uber. This is CrowdStrike. Right?
In terms of that base, this?
Yeah. You got the breakout and now hard retest. This could be like an optimal entry point if it holds. But it's set up for that. No different.
And also, I drew it like this. You could also, pull this down a little bit more and then it looks like a retest, right?
Listen, even if it shakes below like the polarity zone, like it's still a retest. Sometimes you get a harder retest or a whipsaw with your retest and a nice shakeout, right? But it's a retest. This is it. Absolutely. We'll know really soon with this one, I think.
If we zoom in completely, would you call this an island reversal or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting a little too cute.
All right.
But looks good. Looks like it's trying.
All right, since we are all-star charts people, we got an ASC ticker request.
ASC, this one showed up on one of my scans recently.
The shippers. The shippers have been so good, Pat.
What is going on there? Yeah.
I don't know.
It almost doesn't matter, right?
It's almost like the global economy is doing just fine.
I was told there would be a recession, Steve. I'd like my money back.
They keep promising us these things and they never come.
But yeah, I mean, shippers have been really strong for whatever reason. This one pulling back here, but you're not even getting a retest. It's fighting back pretty hard here. If you bought this little base breakout, you're looking at 24 as your next target. And that's, kind of 24, 25, important psychological level. This is a little bit, there's nothing scientific about it, but 25 typically gets you 50, 50 gets you to 75, 75 gets you to 100. Of course, that's just like a general framework, but
It's a good one though.
yeah, I think it's kind of I've seen it happen so many times that it's something that you keep in your back pocket for sure.
The market likes round numbers. It likes
And it might sound crazy, but you think about it and it's like, how do we enter orders? How do we not just enter orders, but how do we think about things? Even if you're an institution, you're still thinking in terms of round numbers. There's, it's completely reasonable to think that that would matter.
So a lot of times I'm buying like at round numbers, especially when I'm doing things like with options, right? So
Yeah, that's a great point too.
so say I paid, $200 or $200 for a contract, then I'm going to sell half of my position typically at $400, but I'll never put the order in at 4. I'll fish it in at like 396
There you go.
because I'm afraid of round numbers. These
Yeah.
psychological numbers, I want to stay away from them, right? So like I'll always kind of like lowball it and do like
Right. Or when you're putting your stop, right? You never want to put it right at $25.
Yeah, no,
You want to put it at 24.98 or something.
Yeah, that's right. 24.92 even. I mean, give it a little.
Stick it to the algos, right?
I hate getting shook out. So like I go into every trade knowing like I'm going to probably have a cushion here that might hurt me a little more if it gets violated, but having that looser cushion will keep me from getting shook out while other participants might get shook out, right? Of those signals. So I always want to be mindful of that. I think that's good. Good discussion, Pat. What's next? Back to the chat. I lost you guys. Where are you? Okay, here we are. So LRCX. I mean, I'm so glad somebody said it because this chart, does it get better? I mean, holy cow. KLAC, MPWR, AMAT, ADI, all of these semiconductor equipment manufacturers, ASML even, like these semi-equipment names, incredible. These have been the best stocks for the past few weeks. Nothing is trending like this group right now.
I know we just got all excited about round numbers here, but is this not a great example of it? I mean, 999, 1,000 basically. You couldn't break it for months. You tried to. Let's look at it in a daily here. $1,000 was the line for 2-3 months, and here we are finally resolving higher. And this week alone, it's up 6% or 5.5%. And then last week, it also had a really nice week. So those things matter. They really do. But as far as this one, that not only was that a round number, that was also the 161.8 extension. So now you're looking at 1,430. So if it's above 1,000, you're getting to 1,430. That's pretty good.
Yep. But Donovan, yes, whatever you're scanning for, whatever kind of top-down process you're using, you're doing it right. Because the other name he asked about was Micron. So these are
man, you know what? Let's just look at Micron. I love that chart.
And I want a monthly, right? Because
of course you have to, right?
This move can only be understood in the context of this .com bubble base. This is the automatic reaction leg coming out of a 20-year base. These moves can be fierce, and that's what you're seeing with Micron right now. It's slow to leave the base, right? Slow and sloppy to resolve these bases, but when they go, look out. That's what Micron.
Yeah, this one is really a beautiful long-term setup. I actually mentioned this to my mother, and she went out and bought Micron. Dude. And I was like, the other day she texted me, she's like, "Oh, good call on the Micron." I was like, "You bought that thing?"
You know it's good
than I am.
You know it's good when you're telling your mom about it.
Right, right. Yeah.
Like
something to write home about, literally.
Mom, I know I haven't called you in a month, but like this Micron setup.
You gotta buy the Micron.
Too good.
Listen, it's this .com bubble base. It's beautiful.
All right. I'm going to just kind of peruse through the chat here, guys, because it is 1:45 and we are done. But I think Pat has to Has
Steve,
to
look at this momentum too. I mean, I know we're still stuck on this one, but
incredible.
just still hitting new highs here. So really strong.
Weekly momentum too, mind you. So, Pat,
Sure.
I think one more to take us out. Palantir. When
Sure.
you're good, you're good. Talking about you, Palantir.
This one is another one that's been getting a lot of attention lately. Uh, it's tricky. It's kind of a messy chart, but I think the path of least resistance is definitely higher here. Um, but you see what I mean. It's just kind of messy from a tactical point of view. I'd really like to see it get above this 30 level here, 29, call it even. 30, I think if it does get above 29, you're looking at all-time highs. But man, this whole action over here really messes things up. We could look at it in a daily, but yeah, I'd say you get that breakout above, or actually, it's really even like 28. Yeah, I'd buy that at 28. I'd jump it a little bit. You get the breakout above 28. I think you're probably good to 40 as mid 40s there,
Yeah,
low to mid 40s.
I
But
agree.
you see how I have it marked up. It's just stair stepping here. So it makes sense that if it does break through the ceiling here, then that turns into the floor. You're looking at the next ceiling, which is all-time highs here. So this thing's working its way in the right direction. I know we both got really excited about it on this breakout, and that just didn't work out, but it repaired itself. It's going. Now,
Josh,
it's one of those stocks, Steve, that moves a lot on earnings. Like it'll make most of its moves on earnings and then just kind of sit around, kind of like a Netflix.
you want to be in it before the earnings report
Yeah.
with a name like this. Pat, another thing, a tool that I use a lot on a chart like this that's stair stepping and you're trying to catch and jump that next step, but you know the primary trend is at your back.
Let me guess. Let me guess.
There you
There
go.
you go.
So I love Palantir. This is one of my largest holdings long term, right? In the IRA. But I'm also trading the shit out of this name because it's fun, it's optionable, it's highly liquid. We got in, we put on a risk reversal when it was holding those pivot highs from last year, the lower bounds of this current range. Put on a risky, already covered the puts. It's go time. Sold actually two of the calls today.
Hey, putting on a risky. Those are the best plays when you have a core position and then you're trading around it. For some reason, I find that I manage the positions better because you have that comfort of knowing that you have some piece of action still, even when it's not doing what you want it to do or when it's ripping without you.
And you know what else I think it is, Pat? Because this is basically my trading strategy. I have core positions in common, and I'm trading kickers in the options market around those core positions. When you're using the same stock, right, that you already know and you own it and you know it well, like you know the character of that stock. You know how it trades. You understand it. Right? It's not like Coinbase. It might be down 10% one morning. It doesn't scare me out. It's Coinbase. It's how it trades. Right? Like you get to know these guys. You get to know their character. So when you're trading the same vehicles, I think it does make at least executing easier, right? And managing the trades easier because it's like these are your friends. Like you know these guys. Like you know how they trade. Right? Like
Actually,
something's unusual, you know when something is just pretty standard for the way that these stocks trade.
Yeah. Actually, Coinbase is kind of a similar scenario to Palantir there.
Yeah.
Where, it's just kind of dealing with that overhead supply from right when it went public. But working in the right direction, maybe not as quickly as we'd like it, but it's moving in the right direction.
At DraftKings is another one. So I actually did a whole thing. Go watch the morning show. Anybody who's interested in Palantir, I did a whole thing about Palantir on the morning show, probably around like 9:45 today. So about like an hour and 10, 15 minutes into the show. But go
You
check
probably
it
know
out.
the fundamentals of that company better than anyone, even
I
though
love the
fundamentals are kind of murky on that one.
Well, fun story. I actually used to be responsible for the bookkeeping for this company.
Ooh, is that a conflict of interest?
No, it was 12 years ago. But I
Yeah,
used to
you're right. And
consolidate.
it was private back then too.
It was private, and we were the largest shareholder. So my boss used to want to internalize the accounting or bookkeeping for as many private investments as he could, and we just kind of took it on. And
Who was your boss?
Stephen Cohen.
Man, yeah, Palantir and DraftKings, all similar thing, kind of just dealing with that overhead supply there.
Dude, I love this DraftKings story. And that candlestick, like this thing just woke back up yesterday. Look out. This
Yeah,
thing,
we'll back up in a big way.
this thing's going to be a magnet back to all-time highs. Holding this stock in the future won't be easy. It's going to be involved in a lot of controversies. But that's just the business they're in. What a growth market this is, and this is the leader, right? So this is like we're making the same bet with this one that we did with Uber and Coinbase, right, years back, which is they're in this huge growth market and they own it. It's theirs to lose. They're the leader, right? And a lot of these industries end up being winner take all scenarios. So the same bet we made with Uber and Coinbase that they would dominate the world that they operate in is the bet that we're making with DraftKings, and it's been working.
Yeah. Now, before we hop though, if we look at, you brought this up earlier in our spaces, coin is holding up a lot better than, well, maybe not anymore this week, but no, it's still holding up a lot better than crypto is, right?
Yeah. You
And
want to
just the miners in general, like you look at WGMI, I mean, look at that candle yesterday when crypto was kind of breaking down. When we look at Bitcoin,
Yeah.
you
All right.
broke you
Listen, and
broke
we're
a pretty
all
important
seeing
level.
this. We're all watching this. I just got a call from our friend and colleague Caleb Franzen from wherever in the world he is, probably calling from Croatia. It's probably midnight over there. And he's wondering about the price action and the Bitcoin miners and the Coinbase relative to the Bitcoin. Because I would expect Coinbase to be down 5-10% on a day like today with Bitcoin trading the way it is. But these stocks, for whatever reason, don't seem to want to break. Now do exactly what you just did there, Pat, because I get it. I see what you did. And you're right. You're right to draw it this way. Right.
Well, I'll quote you. I mean, some of the best moves in crypto start with a shake, right?
Right. And this would be a great shake. You would have the trend line shake and the VWAP shake and that little short-term top shake.
And I'm
However,
calling it a breakdown, but if we zoom out, what this chart chunk is, this is the former highs here. So it really hasn't decisively broken those 2021 highs yet. So there's still time. Not a great sign what's happening today, but
yeah,
it could pull its act together, right?
yeah, do the same thing with Coinbase. I think absolutely. If it's gonna do it and it's gonna break out, it breaks out from here. Like from that look that you just showed, that would be a great way to start a breakout. Now drop those VWAPs on the Coinbase. This is what I've been doing. I just keep selling puts.
But Coinbase, I mean, it's trading like Bitcoin is fine. It's
Right.
not reacting to this at all.
I'm not gonna go into tomorrow with these very, very short term naked short put positions on, knowing that I can't protect myself in the equity market while the crypto market's moving. Right. So I sold more puts this morning, sold some yesterday too against these VWAPs. They keep holding, but I'm going to cover them this afternoon if Bitcoin does not reclaim its equivalent VWAP level. Does that make sense? So if it's
Yes. Yeah.
345 and I got to go, it's my tea time, and Bitcoin is not reclaimed that 66,000, those VWAPs that you just drew, I'm going to have to cover those short put positions in Coinbase because I'm just uncomfortable going into tomorrow where crypto is going to trade for a full 24-hour day and we'll have no chance to manage our positions in the equity market.
Well, you know what? You can always get back in when the charts look a little bit better.
The breakout will probably happen Wednesday as soon as I close my positions this afternoon. Because that's
Yep.
that's markets, right? That's what
That's
keeps
how
us
it is.
back.
That's what keeps us coming back. Absolutely. Should we
You
shut it down?
can. All right, that's it. I got a podcast to record. Patrick, this was fun. Of course, we went for 50 minutes as we always do. We can't help ourselves because we love this
Every
show.
time we come in here, we're just like, all right, 30 minutes. Never happens.
Donovan, Elisa, G Mixer, Frey Lee, Adam, thanks everybody for joining us today and every day on Stock Market TV. We love interacting with you guys. You bring us some of the best ticker requests. I learned something new today. I got to go buy this new organic egg maker.
I was gonna say Vital. I'd say that's the if we have a winner for today, whoever brought that one, man.
Vital Farms is the winner today. From now on, we're going to announce a request winner at the end of every chart
I
request.
like that. I like
Vital
that.
Farms is the chart request winner. There were always good ones, but Vital just too good. All right, that's
Yeah.
it. Signing off, Pat. Any closing thoughts?
That's it for me. Yeah. Doing
Join
this
us.
again Thursday. Yeah.
Join us on Thursday for the next edition of Chart Request Live. Same time, same place, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Stock Market TV. Join us every morning, but not tomorrow morning for the morning show, 8:30 to 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And then tomorrow, be sure, guys, to join us. It will be our last live Hot Corner strategy session here on YouTube at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, that's it. Signing off.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks.